What if I told you that one of Hollywood's biggest stars owns a car collection so massive, so jaw-droppingly expensive, that the garage built to house it costs more than most people's entire neighborhoods? We're talking about a man who went from sleeping in his truck with $7 in his pocket to owning some of the rarest, most powerful, and most expensive machines ever built. And at the end of this video, we are going to reveal the single most extraordinary car in his collection. A one-of-one masterpiece so rare that most car collectors will never even see one in their lifetime. Stick around because you do not want to miss that. Hi, my name is Johnny, and this is American Muscle. Number 10, 1971, Chevrolet. Chevelle. SS. Every great car collection has a car that tells you everything you need to know about the person who built it. For Dwayne Johnson, that car is the 1971 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. And the moment you lay eyes on it, you completely understand the man. The Chevelle SS is not a subtle car. It never was, and it never pretended to be. General Motors introduced the Chevelle in 1964 as a mid-size offering, but by the time 1971 rolled around, the Supersport variant had evolved into one of the most aggressive, most iconic pieces of American automotive history ever produced. The SS came loaded with a 454 cubic inch V8 engine producing 450 horsepower straight from the factory floor. In 1971, let that number sit with you for a second. 450 horsepower in 1971. Dwayne's personal example is finished in a menacing all-black exterior, which, let's be honest, was always going to be the color. You didn't think the Rock was going to roll up in pastel yellow, did you? The car has been sympathetically restored and upgraded, with custom bodywork, upgraded suspension, and a modified exhaust that apparently sounds like thunder rolling through a canyon. According to reports, Dwayne paid somewhere in the region of $900,000 for this particular example, which on the surface sounds extraordinary until you remember that pristine, low-mileage Chevelle SS muscle cars have been fetching astronomical prices at auction in recent years. This is the car that started it all. The car that tells you Dwayne Johnson didn't build this collection to impress anyone. He built it because he genuinely loves machines with soul. Number 9. Ford F-150 Raptor. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. A Ford F-150? On a list that's going to include Paganis and Bugattis? Bear with me here, because Dwayne Johnson's Raptor is not your average truck pulled off a dealership forecourt on a Tuesday afternoon. Ford introduced the F-150 Raptor in 2009 as the ultimate high-performance off-road pickup truck, and it immediately became one of the most talked-about vehicles in America. The current generation Raptor runs a 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged V6 EcoBoost engine, producing 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. It features Fox Racing shock absorbers, a specially widened track, and a high-strength steel frame that laughs in the face of rough terrain. The Raptor will sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 5.1 seconds, which, and I cannot stress this enough, is genuinely impressive for a truck that weighs over 5,000 pounds. But here's where Dwayne's version gets interesting. His Raptor has been extensively customized, featuring a blacked-out exterior package, upgraded 22-inch wheels, a custom suspension lift, and interior modifications, including custom-stitched leather seats. Because when you are the size of a small continent, standard factory seats simply are not going to cut it. Sources estimate his fully customized example sits somewhere around $120,000 once all the modifications are factored in. Dwayne has spoken openly about his love for Ford trucks, calling them the backbone of American automotive culture. And honestly, he's not wrong. There's something deeply fitting about one of America's biggest stars driving one of America's most iconic trucks. Number 8. Pagani Huayra Right. Now, we are getting into serious territory. The Pagani Huayra is one of those cars that makes you question whether it was actually built by humans, or whether Horacio Pagani made a deal with some kind of automotive deity. Named after Huayra Tata, the Andean god of wind, this Italian masterpiece is hand-built at Pagani's atelier in San Cesario sul Panaro, Italy, where a small team of craftspeople spend several months assembling each individual car by hand. We are not talking about a production line here. We are talking about artisans. Pagani produced only around 100 examples of the standard Huayra across its entire production run, which makes it one of the most exclusive road cars ever created. There are NFL franchises with more members than there are Huayras in existence, under that impossibly sculpted carbon titanium body, and I want you to really look at this car because the bodywork alone is worth staring at for an uncomfortable amount of time. Sits an AMG-sourced 6-liter twin-turbocharged V12 engine producing 720 horsepower and 740 pound-feet of torque. The Huayra launches from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds and keeps pulling all the way to a top speed of 230 miles per hour. Active aerodynamic flaps mounted at each corner of the body adjust independently in real time, responding to speed, cornering forces, and braking to keep the car planted and stable. At 230 miles per hour, you really do want every single system working perfectly in your favor. Dwayne's example is finished in a deep metallic gray with a fully bespoke interior, and a standard Huayra will cost you approximately $2.3 million before you start ticking option boxes. Knowing Dwayne's well-documented love of customization, the final invoice on his particular car was almost certainly a number that required a brief moment of quiet reflection before signing. I'll be honest, if I owned a Pagani Huayra, I would never drive anything else. Ever. My wife could take the bus. She'd understand. Number 7. Rolls-Royce Wraith. Not every car in a world-class collection needs to be about raw horsepower and lap times. Sometimes a collection needs a car that whispers rather than screams. A car that doesn't announce itself with a wall of exhaust noise and a cloud of tire smoke, but instead glides past you so quietly and so effortlessly that you don't fully register what you just saw until it's already gone. And for Dwayne Johnson, that car is the Rolls-Royce Wraith. Rolls-Royce introduced the Wraith in 2013 as the most powerful car in their lineup at the time, which is a sentence that genuinely takes a moment to fully process. The most powerful Rolls-Royce. Think about that. A brand built entirely on the promise of silent, effortless, whisper-quiet luxury decided to build something with serious muscle under the bonnet. The Wraith is powered by a 6.6-liter twin-turbocharged V12 engine, producing 624 horsepower, figures that place it firmly in supercar territory, despite the fact that it weighs over 2.5 tons and is lined from floor to ceiling with hand-stitched leather, polished walnut veneer, and a Starlight headliner featuring over 1,000 individually placed fiber optic lights embedded in the roof lining. 1,000 fiber optic lights in the roof, because of course there are. This is a Rolls-Royce. Subtlety only goes so far. The Wraith's fastback coupe roofline gives it a genuinely dramatic silhouette that sets it apart from every other car in the Rolls-Royce family. Elegant and sweeping, where the Phantom is upright and formal, giving it a personality that feels almost sporty by Rolls-Royce standards. It accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds, which for a car of this size, this weight, and this level of interior opulence is nothing short of remarkable. Dwayne's example is finished in a custom obsidian black exterior with a fully bespoke interior, and a fully optioned Wraith sits comfortably around $350,000. This is reportedly the car Dwayne reaches for on the way to important meetings, industry events, and red carpet arrivals. Those moments when pulling up in a Lamborghini would simply be too much. Not that such a thing is truly possible, but you understand the sentiment. Number 6. Lamborghini Huracan. Speaking of Lamborghinis, let's talk about the raging bull sitting in Dwayne Johnson's garage. The Lamborghini Huracan replaced the legendary Gallardo in 2014 and immediately established itself as one of the finest driver's cars in the world. Now, the Gallardo was already a hard act to follow. It was Lamborghini's best-selling model of all time, and had spent a decade proving that the brand could produce something genuinely usable alongside the theatrical madness of the Murcielago. Replacing it was never going to be easy. Lamborghini did it anyway, and they did it spectacularly. The name Huracan comes from a Spanish fighting bull from the 1890s, a bull reportedly so ferocious that it never lost a single fight across 61 bouts in the ring. Given what this car is capable of, that name feels not just appropriate, but inevitable. Under the sharp, angular bodywork sits a naturally aspirated 5.2-liter V10 engine producing 610 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. No turbochargers, no hybrid assistance. Just a pure, screaming, naturally aspirated V10 that revs all the way to 8,500 revolutions per minute and sounds like absolutely nothing else on the road. The Huracan launches from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds and reaches a top speed of 202 miles per hour. It also features Lamborghini's Dinamica Veicolo Integrata system, their integrated vehicle dynamics platform, which coordinates the all-wheel drive, the magnetohelical suspension, and the stability systems in real time to deliver a driving experience that manages to feel simultaneously savage and surprisingly approachable. For a Lamborghini anyway. Let's not get carried away. Dwayne's personal example is finished in Arancio Borealis, a vivid, almost aggressive shade of orange that absolutely refuses to be ignored in traffic, which honestly seems entirely on brand for a man whose global nickname is The Rock. You were never going to see him pull up in beige, were you? The estimated value sits around $260,000, though with Dwayne's well-known appetite for optional extras, that final invoice was almost certainly higher. Number 5. Ferrari LaFerrari. Now we are entering genuinely hallowed ground. The Ferrari LaFerrari. Even the name sounds like it was whispered by angels in a room full of racing trophies. Ferrari unveiled the LaFerrari at the Geneva Motor Show in 2013 as their flagship hypercar and the spiritual successor to the legendary Enzo. And from the moment the covers came off, the automotive world collectively lost its mind. The LaFerrari uses a hybrid powertrain, combining a 6.3-liter, naturally aspirated V12 engine producing 800 horsepower with an electric motor unit derived directly from Ferrari's Formula One program, adding an additional 163 horsepower for a combined system output of 963 horsepower. Ferrari was apparently too proud to round it up to 1,000. 0 to 60 miles per hour takes under 3 seconds. The top speed exceeds 217 miles per hour. Only 499 examples were ever produced, and Ferrari personally hand-selected every single buyer. You could not walk into a Ferrari dealership with a briefcase full of money and simply order one. Ferrari came to you. The base price at launch was approximately $1.4 million, though examples have since sold at auction for significantly more. Dwayne's LaFerrari is finished in a classic Rosso Corsa red, because if you own a Ferrari LaFerrari and you don't spec it in red, I genuinely have questions about your decision-making. This is one of the crown jewels of the entire collection, and quite possibly the most exotic Italian car Dwayne Johnson owns, at least until we get to number 1. Number 4. Custom Ford GT. Here is the thing about Dwayne Johnson that separates him from a lot of celebrity car collectors. He doesn't just buy European exotics and call it a day. The man has genuine, deep-rooted love for American automotive engineering, and nothing in his collection illustrates that more clearly than his custom Ford GT. Ford unveiled the second-generation GT in 2016 as a direct tribute to the legendary GT40 that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans 4 consecutive times from 1966 to 1969. The modern GT is a radical departure from the original in terms of engineering. It features a twin-turbocharged 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 engine producing 647 horsepower, a carbon fiber monocoque chassis, and an active aerodynamic system, including a deployable rear wing. It will accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds flat and reach a top speed of 216 miles per hour. Ford limited production to roughly 250 units per year, and, just like Ferrari with the LaFerrari, you couldn't simply purchase one. You had to apply, and Ford approved or rejected your application based on your history with the brand and your commitment to actually drive the car rather than lock it away as an investment. Dwayne's GT features a custom liquid blue exterior with exposed carbon fiber accents and a bespoke interior with the full build estimated at around $500,000. This is the car that Dwayne has referred to as his personal tribute to American racing heritage, and given everything that went into building it, That description feels completely earned. Number 3, Bugatti Veyron. We have arrived at the point in the video where the numbers start getting difficult to process with a completely straight face, the Bugatti Veyron. When Volkswagen Group unveiled it in 2005, automotive engineers and journalists around the world essentially had to sit down for a moment and collect themselves. Because what Bugatti had produced was not just a fast car, it was a fundamental redefinition of what a production road car was physically capable of achieving. The Veyron is powered by an 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16 engine, 16 cylinders arranged in a W configuration, producing 1,001 horsepower in standard form, 1,001 horsepower from a road car that you could theoretically drive to the supermarket. The Veyron achieves a top speed of 253 miles per hour. It accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds, and it required an entirely new 7-speed dual-clutch transmission to be developed from scratch because no existing gearbox on Earth could handle the torque output. Bugatti produced only 450 examples of the standard Veyron before production ended, and the base price sat at approximately $1.7 million. Dwayne's Veyron is finished in a two-tone black and silver exterior, and is estimated to be worth somewhere around $2.5 million in today's market. Let me tell you something. There are small countries with annual budgets lower than the insurance premium on this car. Number 2. Custom Ram 1500 TRX. Now, before we get to the big reveal at number 1, I need to tell you about possibly the most entertaining story in this entire collection. And it involves Dwayne Johnson, a Ram truck, and a problem that most of us will never have. The Ram 1500 TRX is the most powerful mass-produced pickup truck in the world. Ram launched it in 2020 with a supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat V8 engine producing 702 horsepower. 702 horsepower in a pickup truck. The TRX will accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds, which means it is faster than most sports cars, and it will keep going all the way to a top speed of 118 miles per hour. It comes with Fox Racing shocks, a raised suspension, 35-inch tires, and an interior loaded with technology. Now here is the story. When Dwayne Johnson first took delivery of his TRX, he made the discovery that, despite being one of the largest production trucks on the market, the standard seat did not accommodate a man of his particular dimensions comfortably. The Rock literally did not fit in his own truck. He posted about it on social media, laughing about the situation, which is exactly the kind of personality that makes Dwayne Johnson who he is. The truck was subsequently sent for extensive custom modifications, including a completely rebuilt interior with custom fabricated seats, a bespoke steering wheel, and exterior upgrades that push the total build cost to approximately $180,000. It is, without question, the most aggressively modified pickup truck in Hollywood, and it fits him now. Just about. Number 1, Custom Pagani Zonda, and here we are. The car you have been waiting for. The crown jewel of Dwayne Johnson's entire automotive empire. Ladies and gentlemen, a custom Pagani Zonda. Now, let me give you the full picture here, because this requires some context. Pagani introduced the Zonda in 1999, and it immediately rewrote the rulebook on what a hypercar could be. While other manufacturers were focused on raw straight-line speed, Horacio Pagani obsessed over every single detail, the feel of the gear lever, the sound of the exhaust note, the way the leather on the steering wheel ages over time. The Zonda was not just a car. It was a handcrafted sculpture that happened to also be one of the fastest road cars ever built. Pagani officially ended Zonda production in 2017 after producing approximately 140 examples across all variants. But here is where the story gets extraordinary. Pagani has on several occasions produced one-off bespoke Zonda creations for extraordinarily wealthy clients willing to commission a completely unique example. These are cars built entirely to the client's personal specification. Unique bodywork, unique engine configurations, unique interior materials sourced from anywhere in the world the client desires. There are no rules. The only limit is imagination and budget. Dwayne Johnson's Zonda is one such commission. His example features a wide-body carbon titanium body finished in a custom deep black with gold accent detailing, a color combination that took the Pagani team several months to develop and perfect. The interior features hand-stitched leather sourced from a single Italian tannery, custom machined aluminum controls, and a dashboard that was designed around Dwayne's specific ergonomic requirements. Because, again, the man is enormous, and regular cars were simply not designed with him in mind. The engine is an AMG-sourced 7.3-liter naturally aspirated VSU-12, producing 760 horsepower, mated to a 6-speed sequential gearbox that shifts with the kind of mechanical precision that makes you want to change gear at every possible opportunity just to hear the sound it makes. The car will reach 60 miles per hour from a standstill in under 3 seconds and has a theoretical top speed approaching 220 miles per hour. And the price? Conservative estimates place Dwayne Johnson's custom Zonda at somewhere between $8 and $10 million. For context, that is more than the combined value of every other car on this list. This is not just the most expensive car in his collection, it is one of the most expensive privately commissioned road cars in the world. Horacio Pagani has described each Zonda he builds as a work of art that happens to have an engine. Looking at Dwayne's example, it is genuinely difficult to argue with that description. So, there you have it. From a 1971 Chevelle SS, born in the golden age of American muscle, all the way to a one-of-one Pagani Zonda worth somewhere in the region of the $10 million. Dwayne Johnson has built one of the most remarkable, most personal, and most jaw-dropping car collections in Hollywood history. The total estimated value sits somewhere between $15 and $20 million, which is extraordinary when you remember that this is the same man who once owned nothing but a truck and $7. The Rock didn't build this collection to show off. He built it because every single one of these machines tells a story about where he came from, how far he has traveled, and what happens when someone with genuine passion and limitless determination decides to build something truly special. I'm Johnny, this is American Muscle, and if you enjoyed this video, and honestly, how could you not? Make sure you subscribe because we have got a lot more incredible collections coming your way. And hey, if Dwayne Johnson is watching this, call me. I'll take the Zonda for a quick spin. I promise I'll bring it back.